Hey guys, this is my discussion on the work I've done on the Halo project so far. I'll be discussing the general outline of Season 2's story. I will also be discussing certain characters and other things like this. At the end of the video for Luke, you will find a certain section which is just me discussing towards you, just for bits about a story and that, mate. So let's carry on. So here's the overall synopsis of the story. Basically, the rebels have all had dodgy histories. They haven't had the best of pasts. Things have gone wrong for them. The rebels are hiding up in the mountains of Harvest and the fields of Harvest. The Marines want them dead. The rebels want themselves alive. Basically, the Season 2 unfolds into a story of the rebels being chased by the Marines and hunted down. We have 5 main rebels. We have Alex, Tat, Lewis, Rebels 2, and Rebels 1. The first part of Season 2 is set in the wood. The second part will be set in Worsborough. Both locations are in Bardsley. So if we set 2 or 3 separate filming dates, we should be fine to get Season 2 out of the way. My girlfriend will be working on storyboards, so everything should be fine. In the story, I want to show just how difficult it is for the rebels to survive. They use guerrilla tactics, which were used in Vietnam by farmers. Shut up! Which were used in Vietnam by the farmers. Guerrilla tactics such as setting up IEDs, improvised explosive devices, recovering bullets and other resources from dead soldiers, stuff like that. And the rebels really do give the Marines a run for their money, really. Some of the rebels are very dangerous because they're that smart. Tat uses his head for his initiative to create weapons of destruction just to stop the Marines in their path. Whereas Lewis is the all-out, we call him the Wrecker, because he can lay waste to an army of Marines in a matter of days. That's just how good he is. Alex is Tat's best friend. They've grown up together and worked together and stuff like this, so they're very close. Alex is also dangerous. Rebels 2 and 1 are my backup rebels because both of these rebels will die in Season 2, leaving only Alex, Tat, and the Wrecker alive. Basically, the story I've got so far is episodes 1 to 6. They all start up in the Highlands of Harvest, make their way through a wood to a lagoon, and then to a tunnel. Along the way, bring encounters with the Marines that we see in season 1, which is Ben and Tom and their squad, and also we see plenty of other Marines along the way that are insignificant and just there to die. It shows you the actual force of the UNSC as well. You will also meet an ODST called Lone Wolf, who will play a major part in Season 3. So, now I'm going to look more in depth at Season 1 and 2 and how they link up. So, I had a talk with Thomas Kennedy, and basically my idea was Season 1 should focus on the Marines, the main characters from the Marines, such as Tom and Ben, and it will be up to the job of Luke Poynton to make sure that these Marines are portrayed as heroes, where it is my job to make sure that the rebel characters are portrayed as heroes. Even though in Season 1 some rebel characters may be portrayed as villains, in Season 2 you will really feel for the rebel characters that were portrayed as villains, and feel as though the Marine characters are then portrayed as the villains. And now what happens is, on Season 3 is basically the start of Season 1 and Season 2, because, well, I don't know about Season 1, but in Season 2 I have wrote it so that at the start of each episode it is the rebels and the Marines talking around a fire, and just dropping in some major lines, such as, for example, in one episode, Tat says, "You forgot something," and they say, "What? Guerrilla fought warfare," mimicking him, and he says, "No, you forgot that it's better to burn out than to fade away." And that's just a little, what they call them, philosophy that I've added in. Now, in Season 2, at the end of every episode, we also have a closing word, which just like makes the episode make sense. There's like a moral behind every episode. Season 1, I don't know how it's going to work because obviously I'm not writing it, but I know that in Season 3, because the rebels and Marines have had to make friends to team up and fight the Covenant, that it will all make sense. Obviously at the end of Season 1 it should be where the Marines capture the rebels, and in Season 2 it should be the rebels explaining just how bad the Marines are to them. So that's just looking at the stories colliding and heroes merging. We have heroes such as Tat and Lewis, and even Alex to an extent. Lone Wolf will be a major hero. Tom and Ben also. Even though in my story Ben is wounded, he will manage to recover for the 3rd season, and we will see everybody in their full action. Maybe in Season 1 Luke will decide to make another hero, I'm not sure, but some of these heroes will die along Season 3, and some may survive even when Harvest is glassed, which is what the Covenant do when they burn an entire planet. So now I'm going to leave a note for Luke to look at, and that's all. Right then, Luke, remember when you are writing a story on Season 1 that you also have to include the lines that people will be saying. Remember also that I have set my Season 2 about a week prior to when the rebels are captured. So it is your job to explain about the Marines, why they're on Harvest, why they're looking for us rebels, and also just to portray the rebels as terrible people and terrorists. But you also need to sort of link your story with mine a little. Your Season 1 should end when the rebels capture the Marines. Sorry, when the Marines capture the rebels. Also, I know you talked about how Lone Wolf and the rebels are at a standoff. You may want to add this as well. But what I was thinking is in Season 2, up to the point of them being captured, at the end of Season 2 I was going to do where they're finished talking, they hear something in the bushes, they turn around, and it's the ODST. During Season 1 though, you should see bits of the ODST in action as well, Luke. Remember that. And also I think that, remember, we need to show the scene where Ben is injured again. We'll need to show the scene where the Warthog blows up and they're further back. So yeah, we will get little appearances in Season 1, Luke, of my characters. But obviously, I think it would help us, Luke, if you meet up with me and we can discuss stories and make them entwine. Obviously, I'll probably finish my season by the end of this week. If not, then it will definitely be by the end of next week. It's just obviously being back at college is just so much work. So yeah, mate, that's all. I've been 215556 TAT, and I'm blitzing. Thanks, lads.